understand what it is or why they're doing this to us. Like the 8 episodes is not enough in and of itself, and then dipping it to like old 80s, 90s TV episodes that are like, 30 minutes long is
You
just
know,
not,
just a
it's not
snippet over
appropriate.
30 minutes. And like, are are the days gone where they made finales special?
It kind of feels that way. I mean, this was a reasonable culmination of the show, but it didn't hit you like the finale where, I don't know, maybe something about like that big cliffhanger at the end or something that maybe
Yeah,
I was missing.
that
But
kind of get you hooked and keep you on
yeah, just
more and stuff.
salivating for that next
You
season.
know, I like to salivate
I do too.
for
I'm
a
salivating right now.
for an episode. Um, I like it leaving me parched.
Parched.
um, yeah, I just feel like I don't want my finale feeling like a regular episode.
No. An action-packed episode, yeah, but an episode.
Like we're gonna talk about some pretty fantastic scenes, I think,
Yeah.
in this episode.
Yeah.
But where would we start off if we were talking about this
If we're
episode?
starting off, this is just like picking up right where the last episode left off,
And I
right?
kind of
So,
like when episodes do that.
yeah.
You know, like it it kind of blurs the line between the last episode scenes that they show you, like
Yeah.
and then kind of like blurs that line right into, you know,
I did. I enjoyed that
it makes
aspect of
those a little less skippable.
it. Well, and I guess a lot of people pander to the whole binge culture stuff, right? From
Yeah.
streaming now. So if you were binging this out, there would be a lot of like easy flow.
Yeah.
So, but we start off with I think it opens with Bo-Katan and her little group kind of on the retreat after Din's capture and everything else that was going Paz, Vishla going down.
Hmm. Still a hard
Yeah.
topic for me.
Yeah. That was your boy, eh?
Paz being my boy and all.
That's my boy.
Miss him,
Yeah.
you know?
I missed him in this episode.
There was times in this episode where like when certain people were fighting and I was like, Paz would have done this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could have used a little Paz memory montage.
They could have done a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Just montages of
Where they're all
everybody
just
sitting around the campfire.
thinking back,
Yeah.
you know?
Remember when Paz?
A little bit of Sarah McLachlan in the background.
Arms of the angels.
I will remember you.
Oh. See, she's got all of the crying songs that
Yeah.
you just turn the channel because you're too sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bo-Katan and her little crew are on the retreat. We get a little bit of a firefight and stuff, and they're kind of talking back and forth about how they're going to handle the situation. And as they're kind of trying to regroup, she kind of gets a hold of Axe Woves.
Okay, so
This whole episode, by the way,
Axe.
this whole episode, because of the previous episode that was called Spies, really had you on edge
I know.
through the whole thing, waiting for someone to be the Mandalorian betrayer.
Now I think that was intentional
Yeah.
and loved it actually.
Yeah.
Because the whole time, first off, we discussed how unhappy or displeased we'd be if the armorer
Yes. Yes, we did.
became the spy.
Yeah.
But how delighted were you to find out that neither of them
Yeah. I was super happy actually.
were the spy
Yeah.
or were a spy?
Yeah. It was dope.
Right?
It was like
It's kind of
ecstatic.
like it was kind of a relieving sensation that like, okay, these are two kind of cool characters.
Yeah.
What a shame would it be? And not only that, but for the armor and stuff, almost plot holy.
Yeah, it would have felt awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely some good like theories on how she could be the spy with all of those
It was
Darth
nice
Maul
to
references pieces.
it was nice to talk about.
Yeah.
But ultimately relieving when it wasn't true. I think
Yeah.
that it's better for these characters to end this way.
Yeah, me too.
And even
too.
at a time where Axe is almost heroic
Yeah.
rather than being a traitor,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about.
Yes.
But almost get the sense that that he might even be sacrificing
Yeah.
himself out of time.
I was kind of feeling that too,
You know?
actually, this
So
episode. But yeah, so yeah, it cuts over to the Din escape piece. This whole episode, by the way, and we'll get more into his fighting later, but actually gives him some ground to look like a reasonable fighter and not as clumsy as
yeah, I
we've been
know.
talking about him.
In fact, I would almost say that his escape was a little Last of Us.
Yeah, 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 because he's getting escorted away, 2 guards. Yes, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, definitely
You know,
had some Last
and
of Us feels.
you know, he's got a child on the line.
That's right. Although the child saves
The
him, which I
child
thought
on
was
the
dope.
line is well adapted to take care of himself, or in fact also saves Din.
Yes, from getting shot in the back of the head.
So
I was looking at some funny memes around the old season 1 when Din kind of calls into Moff Gideon and talks about you have something that's very special to me
yeah,
thing, but it was like the reversed roles. It was Grogu calling in, which I thought was hilarious.
that's very Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
It was good.
But that his escape comes to probably one of the better scenes.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Yeah.
And that is the red door.
Yeah.
The red laser doors,
Yes.
which is very gauntlet like.
Well, and it kind of that whole red laser door piece was a real.
Still don't know why you try to be so
I don't know.
delicate with opening up a beer
I don't know.
or a beverage.
That whole piece again though, they do a lot of weird Darth Maul shadowing stuff
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of this season, which I thought was strange. Because even the red doors kind of throws you back to the Qui-Gon Jinn Darth Maul
And they've done
Obi-Wan
that
fight.
twice in this. Like they've used these red doors, the red laser doors, twice in this season. And I mean, I think they had to do it the first time to lead up to this,
Yeah.
right? To make it make sense,
Yeah.
right? But clearly, Din has no weapons,
Yeah.
just to make it that much harder. Okay. I will say this though. This is something I have not understood about the Star Wars episode, or the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Is the punching somebody in the head with a Beskar helmet
Mm-hmm.
and knocking them out.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we maybe we could throw on some helmets and some gauntlets and just
would people like to see this?
no, I'm not doing this. This sounds like a terrible idea.
It was your terrible idea.
But I feel when you're goofing around and you're
You
say
can
with your
knock the
buddies,
wind out of
yeah,
somebody,
you can
I think.
certainly jostle their head around.
Right? Obviously, it's not great on the neck.
No. And if
Right.
you're taking a helmet and banging it into another helmet, you still get a solid knock around. It doesn't feel great. And that's just goofing around.
I feel as though there's there's a particular time where he headbutts the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking how silly that seems.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not a physics guy.
Yeah.
I don't know the physics of it. Right? Maybe it's a little jostling. There's maybe a little bit of ringing going on. I don't know.
Maybe.
The sound effects though.
Solid.
The Beskar on Beskar sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Just the tinging and stuff when they're fighting and stuff. Spot on.
Solid
just
clang.
perfect and stuff, right? They are wearing. Is all Beskar considered Beskar alloy, or is
Well,
does an
alloy would be like mixed metals.
Yeah, so is Din's a Beskar alloy or is it pure
I
Beskar?
think his is pure Beskar.
Yeah, so they are still subpar suits. The troopers there.
They're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, there you go. Maybe his is just that much stronger.
okay, but
Can
back to the good scene.
Can we pull it back though?
What are we pulling
Well,
back?
because you missed a little chunk of just Bo and company take off to the surface, and they're gonna
I don't see
go
why
and hang out somewhere.
I don't see why we couldn't have talked about that and then
Well,
said
the TIE fighters.
in the meantime.
In the meantime, and but because you're getting to the epic barrier scene, you didn't even talk about R5 rolling out. He wouldn't even have gotten to the red doors.
Okay, well then I suppose we could talk about R5 because R5 is a bit of a hero now.
He is a hero.
Okay.
He's a war hero.
Reluctantly helping.
Yeah, he has to go in to the what is happening there?
Don't worry about it.
He's got to go into the base and really save Jaren's bacon.
So Din's really putting his faith in a droid.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't even like him.
Yeah.
But I guess they're friends now.
Not only is his child wearing one.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a suit. It's not a droid.
At the moment. Yeah, he's really trusting a droid that has already been proven to be
a coward.
A coward and a traitor to them.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I trust you, man. I don't know why, but I do.
This droid is less than competent half the time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But good on it. Good on the little R5.
Yeah, he does his job
for pulling through. I gotta say, the Empire needs to stop leaving those access points all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
nobody pays attention to droids.
No.
So strange.
They maybe should start paying attention to specifically like the R5 units.
Yeah.
Or the R units.
Yeah.
Is what they need to.
R2 did it. R5 does it. Any R.
They really just need to change the access points to not allow
Chopper.
Yeah.
They all do.
To not allow those units to to access it. Maybe do some coding.
Maybe something.
You know, although little R5 units like to decode a lot of stuff. So
yeah, they do.
Good on the little R5.
Yeah.
Even like poking his head around corners and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the little mousers.
Mouse droids, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Sneaky.
But
that mouse droid is hilarious too. Just great stuff.
Yeah.
Zaps it, runs away.
Comes back with friends.
Yeah, you get some like R2 reminiscent kind of stuff from
with the little
with the arm comes out and zaps
him and stuff.
Even the rockets, because in the prequel trilogy, R2 had the rockets and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the cartoons and stuff.
No, good little scene though.
Yeah, it was solid.
You know.
And during that, Axe is like out there clearing the ship, which I thought was a cool scene too, because all the Mandalorians bail, and then like the slide-ins to the gauntlets and stuff.
Okay, so here's something you mentioned: the rockets. Okay, on the R unit, and
yeah,
and then Axe takes off, and through this entire episode, I'm thinking, did they fuel up hard?
Yeah, they must have been full
on this because they are really relying on those packs.
Yeah.
Okay.
He flies to outer space.
He flies through the atmosphere. Okay. And these guys couldn't fly to a nest on the same planet.
Yeah.
A small planet. And they...
Oh, to be fair, though, that was the Din's... That was the Children of the Watch. And I don't know how much... like resources they had on the planet that they were hiding out on.
That might be a good.
And this is Axe Woes, who has been rolling around out there doing some pirating. And mercenary.
So they could have been like half cocked with their tanks.
Yeah,
So no, you've got a good point there. They're definitely full of fuel because they heavily use them.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was a little disappointed jetpack wise is that Din picks up a jetpack off of one of the
Jump troopers.
jump
Yeah.
troopers, and I don't think he uses it.
He kind of like half uses it, I think, a little, but nothing.
Nothing like I expected some sort of fantastic
No.
usage of that thing because it's not something he normally carries
No.
recently. And I just figured there was a point of him picking that up, right?
No.
So, but
It's just to show him losing his jetpack again.
yeah, it's not a huge deal.
He's just always losing.
Wasn't a
it.
maker or a breaker of,
No.
of this episode and stuff. Can we talk about the scene now or no?
Yes, go ahead, Carrie.
Like I
I-
can't be on my
it was
way.
great. Epic barrier shield battle.
Yeah. So this is a gauntlet style battle.
Yeah.
Okay. Where Din is weaponless and acquires weapons as he goes through
Yeah.
the stages, which I think was just kind of cool.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was a
And
neat scene.
you mentioned before, this is where Din kind of redeems himself
Yeah.
as a combat specialist.
Yeah.
Because if I'm being completely honest, when he went in there, I was like, Din, are you up for this?
You gonna fall into these guys and they're
Yeah.
gonna fall down a hole?
I'm not saying he didn't fall into a couple guys.
No, he was. His fighting style is a lot clunkier, I
It's a
guess,
very-
especially when you're looking at like Bo-Katan and stuff, or Axe even.
It's a very drunken fighter
Yeah.
style where you're kind of stumbling into combat,
Yeah.
right? But much less of it than he normally does.
Yeah. Like he was pretty focused.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'm getting him off.
You know. And then you have the classic little parts where he picks the knife off of a guy, Beskar knives, I'm assuming.
No.
No?
Those look like vibroblades to me.
Were they? They weren't vibrating.
Well, it's like it's an energy weapon, right? So it doesn't have to be like straight up.
Like just
Oh. It's not.
not the most accurate weapon. When he throws the one into the guy's
Yeah.
neck, he goes to grab the knife, but it's too late. He falls off and stuff.
Yeah.
Just a cool scene.
Yeah. I love that. And then every battle after that is just wicked. Even when he's coming through the smoke screen for the last two guys and stuff like that, and he does the sliding and stuff.
That was cool. Because like he picks up the weapon. So the first one, he's kind of got the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Right. That goes away, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. He picks up what is that weapon called? The taser type weapon.
The purple one?
Yeah.
Those are like you see them in the games, the Jedi Survivor, I'm sure you'll see more of. But they're from like the one set of troopers. What the heck are they called? Purge troopers. And they use like these electro weapons.
Yeah.
So like later when we get to see Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan go at it, he pulls out like that electro staff.
Mhm.
So it's like an electro baton, an electro whatever.
So he picks up one of them, and then the next set have shields. So he ends up by the end of it, he's got shield. Then he picks up a blaster.
Yeah.
And stuff. And like the smoke from those blasters and everything like that create that fog shield, kind of gaining him another element of surprise when that last door comes down, and then he just charges, right?
Yeah.
I love every time they slide.
Yeah. I love the slides.
It
And
gives me
this episode had so many
Oh,
power
yeah.
slides. Them getting onto the ships when they get kicked off the Imperial cruiser, they have a solid power slide
That
into the
was-
back.
a perfect power slide because I feel like it showed how like not every landing is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
know?
it was kind of clumsy, like slid in. Bo-Katan, when we get to the jetpack fight, wicked power slide move.
Yeah, the power slides were like hardcore in this episode.
Jetpack powered power slides.
Yeah.
They were
But, I
great.
mean, you just said Mouthful of awesome there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is what you
Mm-hmm.
did.
That was my nickname back in high school,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah. Mouthful of awesome.
mouthful. I thought you meant
Jetpack
jetpack
powered
powered
power slide?
power slide.
No.
It's a bit of a
I
mouthful.
wish.
I don't think I'd be displeased with a nickname like
No.
that.
So yeah, R5 gets busted during that, which I thought was another little
With all the
amusing
mouse
scene because
droids.
all the mousers are coming in with their sirens on and just like bumping into his legs.
Stupid little mouse droids.
And he just flies away, but he's like,
And one of them falls off the edge
yeah,
there.
killed one.
Yeah, I know. He's a murderer.
He is. Which was fun. But yeah, he gets into that clone chamber right after that, which I thought was interesting because I was really curious to see whether they were going to push the Palpatine Snoke agenda with this
I
part.
liked where they went with this.
I do too. I do too. Where it's all just Moff Gideon clones. I thought that was a nice touch. And the one opens its eyes.
Yeah.
And then we find out it was force sensitive, and then you're like, was there a connection between Grogu and the reason that one
he
opened
was
its
looking
eyes?
at it and stuff. Yeah.
Eh?
In the meantime, Din is setting them to explode.
Yes.
Which is a weird way for that to happen. All just the glass breaking out of them all.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
what did you do, and why would you make that an option?
Just in case.
You know,
You don't want people getting a hold of that.
you just shut it down.
No. Explode them.
I just don't like. Hey, let's make an option for to specifically blow the glass out of them all. Just
It's not nice.
it's a weird option.
They like suffocate, I would think, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of awful when you're really thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to really think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it. So yeah, they get through there, and then well, they get unless I'm jumping the gun,
You probably are.
they get trapped with Moff.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a gun jump, but that's okay. We can kick back after.
Yeah.
But they do get trapped. Yeah, they go into the next room, the control room and stuff, and they're looking around for Moff. And
Yeah.
that's when the real battle starts.
Shuts the one door. I gotta tell you, when he talks with that helmet on, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the suit and the, it's good.
He gives you like almost Vadery vibes, but something a little
different.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's got a kind of menacing voice just by himself. Where I like James Earl Jones'
plays
voice.
A good menacing part. That guy.
James Earl Jones' voice is a lot of times like kind of soothing. So like the fact that this voice is already menacing outside the helmet, and then you put the helmet on, and it adds that robotic, throaty, like echo chamber thing to it. It's really cool. Kudos to Esposito.
Yeah. Esposito.
Before we get to the fight part, though, we do get to see Bo and her companions get led to a little underground chamber.
Yeah. So before they get there, they're getting chased out, and she uses a detonator.
Yeah.
To kind of blast them, and then she does this cool move where she uses her thrusters.
Yeah.
And then spins around and gets a couple shots off and stuff.
To just kind of slow them down.
There's a lot of cool jetpack moves and stuff like that in this. And when we get to the big jetpack battle, I guess that's when we get to really talk about that.
Yeah, we're encroaching right now. But yeah, the garden scene I think was an important piece just because it shows
storytelling wise
that Mandalore
totally tubular,
tubular
world
like building,
huge world building.
Because it just shows that things are growing there.
Life will persist.
Yeah, life finds a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and the look on Bo-Katan's face when she's like, my homeland is, there's something thriving here. You know, and there's pockets of this.
Yeah, because they apparently have little pockets of it all over the place that they've like been cultivating and stuff.
Not without work.
No.
Right, because they are farming it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and moving it around and doing the work to survive. They had to have survived somehow here. Right.
They're survivors.
Yeah.
I see it.
You know where I want to go with that.
Do it.
I'm a survivor.
Are you gonna give up?
No,
Okay.
I'll work harder.
Yeah. But yeah, then we get to the Jar and Grogu versus Moff Gideon, which kind of
Are we there yet, or can we like? I think that the the jetpack battle kind of happens before that, because when they're when Din is fighting Moff, you can see the jetpack battle going on in the background.
yeah, but that's after the Praetorians come in and push Grogu through the door.
Okay, let's talk about it then.
Okay, because the battle starts out and you kind of think Din's gonna hold his own right away because he pops out while Gideon's giving his speech, helmetless, and just starts blasting at him like
Yeah,
not messing
he didn't
around.
waste any time, eh?
No.
Um, Moff having the mechanical aspect of the suit, though,
Yeah.
right, is not using his own strength,
No.
right?
He's a powerhouse.
Then you
now.
see that both when Bo-Katan and him are fighting,
Yeah.
that he can really overpower them.
Yeah. If he gets a grip on him.
Yeah, the scene where he grabs his hand,
Yeah.
gives him that little crunch.
Yeah. He's got power ups.
So had it not been for the scene previous, where they not put that scene where he went through the gauntlet,
Yeah.
you would not have the confidence in Din
No.
at this point.
No, you wouldn't.
They've instilled confidence in you.
But he's got Grogu on backup too.
Yes,
so
he does.
like,
He does. But that scene kind of made you feel like, okay, well, maybe he does have the skill.
he's serious today.
Right? He's on par right now. Let's get her done.
He's
right?
on. His skills are on fleek.
On fleek even.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't do a bad job.
No, until the Praetorians come out.
Yeah, and at that point you're thinking, well, if Paz couldn't do it,
Although he did beat Paz with a sword that he couldn't lift properly. So
I think Paz was holding back.
do you?
I like Paz.
No.
All right.
But yeah, those Praetorians take it out of him pretty quickly, and then the Grogu no comes in.
I like how Grogu only has to one hand the combat aspect of it.
Yeah.
Aspect of it.
And he
And
just
he
say
still
no.
has an extra hand to hit the no button.
Yeah. No.
No. Right? But really doesn't do much but support.
No, I barely anything at that point actually. Like when because I watched it back like quickly today, and basically in that part he just comes out and says no. He's just standing there, and then the Praetorians come at him and he has to back off right away. And then it's just Din and Moff going toe to toe again, which he holds okay at that point.
Yeah, because do they drag Grogu off?
They kind of
push
him back
into the next room.
Yeah.
And that's when Din kind of tries to go after him, but then gets
cabled back and stuff. Yeah.
And whipped back, and you're not really worried so much about Grogu.
No, you feel like he's probably all right.
But at the same time, you're like, you can feel the tension.
Yeah.
That obviously now Din has got two things on his mind now.
Yeah.
He's going to make some mistakes, which he does.
Yes.
And he's kind of getting his butt whooped a little bit.
And that's when we cut back to the Mandalorians reinforcements all dropping in, and then the flight scene with the Mandalorians with the rocket packets all cruising, and then the gauntlets flying over was such an amazing scene.
They just hold on that horizon line.
Yeah.
That like the clouds.
Yeah.
For a good 10 seconds or so. And then the TIE fighters come back up. That's filmmaking right there.
Yeah.
Like that's filmmaking at its best right there as far as I'm concerned.
So good.
All right.
But yeah, then we get the dive into the cavern, and then the jump troopers coming up. And this is probably, I think that's my favorite portion of this episode.
Just the two factions going
head
to head.
Yeah. It's full battle mode.
you get a good scene where, first off, Bo-Katan coming down, pulling out the dark saber, and charging in,
Mhm.
and the armorer pulling out the weapons
Yeah.
or the
The
tools,
tongs and hammer.
and just smashing those Beskar tools into.
Yeah.
It's just a killer scene.
It's so good. And it really shows like that the Mandalorians are made to have jetpacks. Like they've been doing this a long time because they outclass these jump troopers by
Yeah.
a ton. Even though there's way more jump troopers coming up, like they're
That
no
seems to
match.
be the theme. Like they're outnumbered, but they're not. Like do they have a saying about a Mandalorian being
I don't know. I think they're Spartans, right?
worth X amount of whatevers?
They're Spartans.
You know?
It's like the 100.
Yeah. It's definitely that vibe.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a cool scene where you get the view of one of the troopers flying, looking around, and then all of a sudden looking at the armorer, and then the armorer comes at the trooper,
Yeah.
and just really good.
I like the one part where Bo-Katan flies up behind the one and just shivs it
Oh yeah,
with the dark saber and lets him go. And then Bo-Katan's power slide, that move where she's getting chased and she hits the ground, slides, flips under, and comes back up and shoots. Sorry, I'm just really excited about the whole thing.
you just went like full on Karate Kid
Yeah,
there.
I did. Like this, she came out. It was a great battle. Just so dope.
And it just led well into the next battle and then back into that. And,
Yeah.
you know, I love when they're cutting back and forth between the action scenes and stuff like that. It's just made for a really, really good flow and feeling, you
Mhm.
know. Like it's on par with like some of the best scenes out there.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
cutting back to the
Bo-Katan notices
yeah,
Din alone on the platform.
comes
there
down, and
kinda-
this is where you're like, well, we talked about in the last episode whether it really kind of needs to be
Yeah.
Bo-Katan who kind of takes him out.
Yeah. That's where my thought was. Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I don't know.
Because she whips in and just tells Din to go.
Yeah,
Basically,
go
save
get your son.
Go save your son.
Go save your son.
And he's like, okay, peace. And
Yeah,
just
like that, you don't have to tell me twice.
and the Bo Gideon fight that he is taunting her and asking her if she's just gonna surrender again, then whips out that electro staff thing. And again, the electro staff with the two blades on it gave me, plus I mean his helmet and his coloring,
Very
everything's just weirdly screaming Maul the whole time, which I thought
Yeah.
was interesting. But yeah, great fight between just Bo
Now-
and Gideon.
How do you feel about the dark saber?
How do I feel about the dark saber? I'm a little perturbed. Not perturbed. I think it had to happen, right? Because
it's
a lot of the
sorrow, like it's a sad goodbye.
Yeah. But it was the same as like when the Razor Crest got blown up or those kinds of things. But I think it had to happen because this whole season has been kind of building around the fact that, you know, they need to be able to work together and come together.
Unite rather than have the ideals that
That
a
I'm the leader.
symbol can
Yeah.
be like a lightsaber can hold the power to choose who leads.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good token.
It's a sad goodbye because it's a cool
Yeah.
weapon,
And like
and there's
if you've
nothing
watched
like it.
if you've watched, you know, Rebels and stuff like that, then like it played a part through that story
Yeah.
too. So yeah, it
It's
was a little
kind of like a necessary thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like
what's the only one of its kind?
meh, I don't like
Mhm.
it. And then one day someone will fix it,
Mhm.
you know.
Maybe. Or it's gone forever. And that's okay too. Because I feel
I
like at
want
some
it.
point the mythosaur is going to be
It's a symbol of
the
its own.
symbol.
Yeah. So again,
Did you
no
just give
big
me the,
deal.
did
No
you just give
big
me the
deal. But
finger?
it's what's that?
Did you just give me the finger?
Possibly.
That's not nice.
I don't know. It's like just happens.
Yeah,
People at Walmart don't like it.
that's cool. Um, but yeah, it kind of kicks over to the Yoda jam where
Yes, very
he's got
much
like
so.
Yoda vibes. I mean, smaller and not as like
Anytime you see that
agile.
puppet going all over the place, is just there's something like inside me that just there's joy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pure joy.
And he's doing a solid job of like deking out these Praetorians
He's
for a
kind of
bit.
giggling when he does it.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
Because at this point they've disassembled the
IG-12.
IG-12
Yeah.
robot
thing
that he's driving. Suit. Yes, we'll call it a suit.
His Krang suit.
His Krang suit. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shredder. And does he need it?
No,
I think
he's bobbing around. He's doing all right. If he had like a weapon of some kind, he'd be probably a little better off. But like even in the IG-12, it's not like he had a gun.
He was a little clunky, even.
Yeah.
Right. So he's this little agile thing, jumping around, avoiding these guys for the most part. Never really using the Force for attacks and stuff like that. It's always defense, whether it be moving somebody or something out of the way.
Yeah.
A weapon.
Little pushes and stuff like that.
Doing a fine job though until the smallest little pipe.
Yeah. Pins him down. Which I can't remember what I had like a movie flashback or something, and I don't remember what it was. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. So moving along.
I just don't understand why Grogu didn't just go.
Well, he started to.
Oh, did he?
I think he was a little stunned about it. Like he
Well,
hit the
thrown
ground
off.
and he was like pinned under, and he was like, "Whoa!" And he started to, but Din showed up and just started wrecking. But the Din Grogu combo there, that
that's the type of thing I want to see in a game.
Yeah, it was a cool fighting style that they kind of had together.
And let's be honest.
Okay.
Without Grogu there,
yeah,
I am sad to say, I don't think Din would have managed.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
The only thing that made it acceptable that he did is because Grogu was assisting.
Yeah, he was doing some grabs and some pushes.
It didn't feel unnecessarily, like it didn't seem unrealistic.
Yeah. He's like just kind of pushing weapons out of the way and kind of pushing
them away when he needs to and stuff like that. Little guy just saving days all day long.
This was Grogu's episode, man, for saving days. But yeah, after he kind of saves him and they're going to take back off out to help the fight against Moff Gideon there, we got Axe, who's coming in hot.
Oh, yeah.
With the flaming Imperial cruiser coming down, which I thought was cool.
What does it feel like to get hit by your own ship?
Probably not great. I feel like it would be nice.
Getting hit by a ship anyway would be terrible. But
any ship.
Just the fact that it's kind of like poetic that
it's his ship.
It's his ship.
Yeah, I liked it.
The big red mythosaur symbol coming down on them.
Just flaming.
Yeah. And at that point, that's when you get that kind of sacrificial feeling, and you're thinking, could it be that he's
just going to drive it all the way in?
He's just going to sacrifice himself, and then it doesn't take away from the character.
No.
That he escapes from it at all. In fact, it's on par with that character.
Yeah, he's like,
right, like I'm out.
Going
and you're glad. You're glad. You don't want to see him go.
No.
Especially after realizing that, he's on board.
Yeah.
With Bo-Katan leading and the merge of the the rebuild of the Mandalorians. Like you really get that sense.
Yeah.
Like he's for Mandalore.
Yeah.
you know, like
And I was so happy that all of the Mandalorians were for Mandalore.
yeah,
Um, the fight piece where that ship's coming down and it's just the 3 versus 1 kind of jam where they're finally starting to actually maybe make some ground
mm-hmm.
against him. And it's still not an easy fight, even with the 3 of them kind of going at him, which I thought was cool because he's not got any force. He's just got this cool armor, some robotic aspects, and
Yeah,
an
speaking of
electro
that,
staff.
we kind of skipped over part of his speech being the reason why he was making the clones.
Oh yeah, because he wanted to make force sensitive
Yeah,
versions of himself. Yeah,
he said they were going to be perfect, having the one thing I never had,
yeah,
which was the force. And could you imagine
yeah. That'd be awful.
a army of him being force wielders?
And probably, like, I would imagine those ones would be chipped in some way so that they just did what he wanted them to do.
Yeah, because that's a very strong personality right
Yeah.
there.
There would somehow only be one of him left.
That would end up being a Kang the Conqueror situation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So they'd have to be
Yeah.
chipped or something. And I mean, with that kind of realization and stuff like that and the cloning stuff, like, you never really know if Moff's gone at this point.
That's the sense I got too. Is like, how do you really know? Like at any time they could reuse that character with that in mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's in the bank. You
So
don't know.
it's
Did he put all his eggs in one basket in one spot?
It's not like him to.
No, you wouldn't think.
But it is a fantastic way to end that character, knowing that there's always that question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the 3 guys couldn't take him out.
Yeah, they didn't technically.
No. It took a whole effing ship.
You know. And he kind of doesn't even. He kind of goes out pretty gloriously.
Yeah. In a flaming ball of fire.
You know. Which that is one hell of a fire.
Mm-hmm.
To go through all of that. Like.
Well, his ship's pretty big. Would be a pretty big explosion.
Yeah. And then Grogu.
Saving days.
That's
how he rolls.
I am Grooted them.
Yes, yeah. He just balled them up.
Yeah. A big old force shield.
And it so he kind of does the same thing in like the season 1 space, where he kind of blocks a flamethrower, but it's just a flamethrower.
Not to this extent,
right? So it's a cool way to show how amped up he is. Like, he's way beyond season 1 Grogu.
Yeah.
At this point, he spent time training with Luke and all this other stuff.
I like how after everything though, because he's like, the smoke clears, and he's that scene first off, where the fire's going past the bubble, the force bubble. Just a cool shot altogether, right? And then it all kind of calms down, and then he does the classic Grogu where he's tired.
Yeah.
And he has a little sit down. All right.
Teresa was making fun a little bit of that just before that portion of the scene where he like force bubbles it up, because Bo-Katan slides in there with her little like energy shield. Like,
I thought it too.
Wow.
I thought it too.
She's like, what was Bo-Katan gonna do with that little shield? Probably be lit on fire. That's where that was gonna go. Because
I had the thought too. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna need a bigger shield.
Yeah. that little guy's not gonna do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it does well for like plenty of things.
A couple of deflections here and there,
but I feel like there's gonna be a whole lot.
That shield might be left after.
Just
the shield. Yeah, piece of her arm.
Just this energy shield and a piece of Beskar armor.
Yeah, that would have been it.
Yeah.
How did the whole base not collapse? Was my jam though. I was like, that was a big ship flying directly into this base, and they're like chilling in there.
Yeah,
I feel like some stones should have been shaken down.
I think you got a little bit of that go.
All right.
So let's not get too picky on it. All right.
And yeah, That's the battle for Mandalore, man.
What a glorious battle.
It was a great battle.
All right.
Great battle.
Possibly some of the best scenes in this season.
Yeah.
Yes. And then finally we get the ceremony where Paz's son
Ragnar
finally gets to say his vows. And I think that this moment is much sweeter because of what's happened through the season.
Yeah. And so I even when I was reading some reviews and things, they said it was a cool way to like bookend the whole season, because we started the season off with Ragnar, his ceremony being interrupted and stuff, right? And like that's how we started the season, and to end the season with him finally getting to fulfill those vows and stuff.
But
also,
even more poetic, I think,
because it's at the Living Waters.
And it's because we lost his father.
Yeah.
That in this episode too.
Yeah.
Or the last episode.
Last episode, yeah. And
so this is like an onion.
It's so many layers. And did you notice that there was no mention of the helmet when he was taking his vows?
No, I did not notice that. But did you also notice that even the night owls and them kept their helmet on through the ceremony?
Well, that's
out of respect.
Yeah, it's respectful.
So there is some give and take now.
Well, they just fought in a war together.
There's a lot of respect going around.
Gotta have a lot of respect flowing around there.
Grogu.
Yeah.
Now, Din Grogu.
Weird.
Right? I'm not calling him Din Grogu.
No? I think so. I think Din Grogu is a great name because just Grogu wasn't enough for me. However, weird that he took on Din.
The first name.
Yeah. Which maybe is just something like from Din's.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
or maybe
the
it's because
form.
He's not just a foundling. He's an apprentice now, and he's not a full Mandalorian. And when he's a full Mandalorian, he'll get Jaren instead. Name? He'll be Grogu Jaren.
I gotta say, Grogu Jaren is harder to say.
Yeah. But it's way out of continuity with the Mandalorians to have him take his first name. It's weird.
I didn't even know that they took apprentices.
Well, yeah, step-ups. Foundling, apprentice, Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I knew that the apprentice was taken
Jedi.
In Jedi.
They're Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jedi.
They're Jedi.
But he is not. He. Dan can't talk.
No.
He doesn't do that much.
No.
He's not good at it.
This is good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. He wants Grogu to become a Mandalore, but he cannot speak. He's too young to speak. So fucking never then.
Yeah, because he's probably got some time.
50 years from now.
Yeah, he'll be able to say words.
Right. But she says he cannot speak, so he cannot take the vow. And then it pans over to Grogu, and Grogu's mouth starts moving, and you're like, is he gonna fucking talk?
He's just gonna say
He's just gonna be like, pardon me? I've not much to say, but I can talk just fine. Right? And I'm like, don't do it.
No, it'd be too weird.
Don't do it. Like all of a sudden this Kermit the Frog thing starts talking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, just don't do it.
I was worried.
I was a tad worried that he was going to start talking.
Even if he's like, it would have been okay with me, I think, if he said like a word or something, but not if he was just
to say kind of, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Right? Mama. But yeah, like a full sentence would have been.
Yeah, it would have been too much.
Just too much. I think they would have lost it. That would have ruined an entire good episode.
Yeah.
For me.
Just crushed it.
But then he takes him on as an apprentice, and
because he adopts him.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Now he's actually his father.
This is my daddy.
You know, my daddy. Dada. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's
It was a
nice.
great scene. I loved it.
But after all of that, now they have to venture out again.
Yeah.
Kind of coming full circle.
Mm-hmm. Because
Now,
he has to take him on his adventures.
yeah.
On his adventures.
It's like, now that we're going to rebuild this place, leave.
Yeah. You gotta go.
You got to get out of here.
But before they leave, they go to the forge ceremony, which I thought was real dope.
Well, first off,
What?
you
We
can't,
get the depths view.
you can't
yes.
ignore Grogu looking into the water. Is he making a connection
I think so.
with the mythosaur?
And I was kind of waiting for the mythosaur to just kind of like peek out of the water or something too.
Just kind of like crocodile it.
Like, yeah. Didn't happen.
I think that would have been a bit much for the scene.
Yeah.
It was a nice little kind of like, hey, I'm here. Open it. At first, I thought like, when you first see it, like, could it have just been like a rock formation? And then are they gonna play it off like it was just a vision, right? And then it opens its eyes, and you're going, okay, well, I'm just down here chilling. I'm calm. All right, I'm not gonna drag anyone under the water.
Not today.
Not today, my friend. But I'm just chilling. And, I'm making a connection with my little friend up there.
Yep.
We sense each other.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, because some force sensitives can commune.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Grogu knows a whole lot about a whole lot of stuff that nobody in that group knows.
Yeah. Just a ton.
He can feel it.
Can sense it.
So carry on with what you were saying.
Which would have been a great piece to the soundtrack, actually. Carry on my wayward son.
Yeah, because there was peace when they were done.
Mm-hmm. They light the forges, the Great Forge, which is actually 3 forges by the looks of it.
Looks like a freaking rocket ship.
Yeah. So cool.
Back end of a rocket ship.
I want to build something there. I want to be a Mandalorian so bad.
I know you want to be a Mandalorian so bad.
So bad.
This is the way.
Yeah, they laid up the forges. It's pretty cool.
Very
the passing of the torch.
The passing of the torch,
which I thought was really cool, from the armor to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan lights
she's
things
like,
up.
now you work at it for the next 10 years.
Yeah, now it's your turn.
All the Mandalorians standing around it, and they look much more plentiful.
Yeah.
Than they have in the past.
Well, they might have picked up, extra guys, whoever was left on the planet. Because you got to think there must have been some other ones.
Yeah, they are a much bigger group than they have been in the past. They will rebuild.
Is that so? Yeah, that's kind of that's it. Go off, leave, get out.
We'll end it off with
get off of Mandalore.
With them going to that encampment.
The New Republic one?
Yeah. Where again, anytime that I can see Grogu walking. Din Grogu, my apologies.
Yeah, Din Grogu.
Sir Din Grogu?
Yes, actually, he's been knighted. So yeah.
Yep. Anytime that puppet is just doing his thing.
Yeah, I love watching him walk. I could just watch, like when you get sucked into like watching cat videos, I could get sucked into just watching Grogu walk around.
Walk and jump around.
Yeah, do stuff. Be great.
Giggling.
Yeah.
Goes right for the snacks.
Sees his friend. Or his ex-friend.
Well, what he thinks to be. What he thinks to be the IG.
So, yeah. On Adelphi, New Republic outpost. Theoretically on the Outer Rim.
Hold on a second.
He's just checking the notes.
Checking the notes that are now so long that they are dragging along the floor.
I write a lot of notes. Talking to Captain Teva, whom weird pieces. So I'm assuming that the the piece of Beskar that's lodged in the ship that Moff Gideon got away from was one of these Dark Troopers, probably.
Yeah,
Right at this point, it's not a
makes
Mandalorian.
makes sense now.
And then the other thing that I was kind of thinking about was because of the Cara Dune issue with the actress and her not coming back and probably being dead in canon at this point is
Unalived.
sorry is that I think they're going to pull the Rangers of the New Republic story into this and kind of have the Mandalorian season 4 already written to an extent based on that, what they were going to do with that.
So there's going to be a bit of a time jump, you think?
I think they're just going to weave it in because now he asked basically to work for the New Republic
On a base
yeah,
on a contract basis.
right.
Not working for the Republic.
No. He made that
Let's
clear.
get that straight.
He made that clear.
All right.
But so I think that's where they're going to pull a whole bunch of that story from, and they're probably like I don't imagine they're going to do that. I think that was a canceled show at this point anyway. Was the Rangers of the New Republic, because it was going to focus on Cara Dune and what she was doing. So that's kind of what my theory is on where that's gonna draw from.
We'll have to see. It'll be a while before we get another season.
Yes.
So it'll give us some time to think about that.
Just
ponder
and theorize.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, talks about business, and then wants the IG head.
Yeah, as payment,
which I thought was great, and I was super excited
when he wanted
started thinking about
the head. When he wanted the head, you got the sense that okay, I know why you want that.
I know it's gonna happen.
It's not gonna just hang on the freaking ship.
No.
It's, and did you get the sense that there was gonna be like a trio, or
yes? Initially, that was my feels,
and it was like, a great feeling at first, but then you're like, where's he gonna sit?
Yeah, there's not any room in there at all.
On the
I guess
ship.
you could like strap him underneath or whatever, right?
Little cargo thing.
Be just his.
But I'm not unhappy with the usage of it.
No, because they go back to Navarro, Grief Karga, and there's a new sheriff in town, which was a cool gift because Grief didn't know, and it's just kind of like Din said, I got something for you.
Because he had previously asked Din to be the new sheriff.
Yes.
And so he's kind of fulfilling that obligation.
Yeah.
By in the best way possible, really.
Yeah. Redemption.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love IG-11. I've loved.
He's got a cool redesign.
Yeah, with the red stripes.
Kind of matches like the robes of.
And I've loved IG units for a very long time, actually, just based on some games that I had played and stuff like
Even
that.
in the
the same stuff that I was playing that I started learning a lot more about Mandalorians too.
Yeah. So, that's all well and done. It's all nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just going to chill for a while in their hut.
Yeah. Their cabin or whatever you call it.
And you get like the most peaceful scene ever.
Yeah.
Of just Din feet up on the porch, pans out.
Watching little Grogu by the water. Force lifting a one-eyed frog.
And there's nobody who watched this that wasn't wondering if he was going to eat it.
Oh, that was where my mind went right away. I was like, he's going to pop that right in his mouth.
Right, and then he just kind of lets it go.
Yeah.
Right? And then they do the classic Star Wars pan in, right? Just framing them. And I love how even in the TV shows, they use those classic wipes and stuff when they go from scene to scene and stuff. It just makes it very much like a feeling you're in the same universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do like most of them do a great job of doing a lot of those nostalgic feel cinematography and stuff like that. And even just down to utilizing puppets still.
Yep.
Right? Like
it's like a lot of people were kind of like downing on the puppetry for Grogu, and like that scene where he was having his trials with the foundling, and he did that backflip thing, and they were like, "Oh, that was very cheesy." That works for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that made it very much a classic Star Wars feeling. You gotta appreciate stuff like that rather than nitpick about stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have tons and tons of technology that you could do like full CGI versions of whatever, but it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it gives a certain feeling you don't get without it, and I think you got to sit back and appreciate it rather than look at it like they could have done this.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
You know, I like a little bit of puppetry.
Right.
You know,
Me too. Me too.
so that's where this ends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Too short.
Very, very short.
Too rushed. And I'm gonna, which I'll say again,
You're gonna have to,
because
how
these
can
last 2 episodes felt too.
How can it not
pushed.
be rushed?
I know.
Like you wasted an episode pretty
Yes.
much. Okay. And then you're going on with like the simple fact of the matter is if you just gave us a double episode or even make it an hour rather than the just over a half hour that you make it special. It's a finale.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
You're just wasting time.
I agree.
Was it a good episode?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a great episode. Tons of stuff happened. Super exciting. But it's just not
Again.
enough.
I mean, and a good episode sometimes is gonna feel like I could have used more.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But
been
I actually should have had more.
yeah. All in all, it's been a good season.
Yes.
They're getting to the end of these seasons and they're like, hey, you could have just stretched it out a little bit longer and made it perfect. Right?
Yeah. One more episode even. I don't know what that is. Sorry. A little.
Yeah. One more episode.
One more.
Or a double episode.
Yeah.
That's
Extend it up.
That's all we needed.
That's all.
Give us a finale instead of a episode.
That's
From
right.
now on, listen, Disney.
Disney.
Episodes, finales.
Disney.
Give us something special.
Lucasfilms.
Yeah. That's that though.
That is.
You know.
I had a good time during this season. I had a good time hanging out with you, talking about it.
Yeah. We'll do a quick banana.
Mm-hmm. Amazing episode.
Oh yeah.
Episode wise, with what we got, I'm going to say 8.5. Season overall, I'm going to give it a 7. And that's just based a lot around the last 3 episodes.
Okay.
And the way that kind of flowed.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going an 8.5?
An 8.5 for this episode, 7 for the season overall.
So I'm a little more lenient than you
Yeah.
when it comes to these. I'm a bit of a pushover.
Are you?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna, being this last episode being, I think, one of the better episodes,
Yes.
gonna go for an 8.
Okay.
Okay.
I gave it an 8.
Or no. I'll go for a 9.
Oh.
Okay. I'll go for a 9, but for the entire series, I'll go for an 8.
Okay.
Which is only a little higher than what you've
Yeah.
given it. I'm trying to reel myself back, and not be a little more critical.
And if you know, we're fair, I think that's probably my lowest rating of the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
that we've had.
Still a great season.
Yeah.
You know.
Solid. Worth watching.
You know. We'll be back
We will.
next season.
No, we'll be back before that.
No, we're not doing anything else until then.
Oh. March
No, that's
4th.
just kidding.
March 4th, we have the new season of Visions is coming out. May, I mean. We're not going to go back in time.
I got a lot of work to do.
Do you?
What do I need to watch to get to there?
Visions? Visions are
do
like
I need
one-off
to?
kind of jams.
Okay, then I'm good there. All right. See you soon.
Yeah. Maybe not next week, but we'll see. Potentially next week if we find something to talk about before then. But we might be going to a birthday party, so
Yeah.
maybe we won't.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for not watching.
No, everybody's watching. Everybody loves their show. They're just not talking.
I'm just kidding.
Talk more, guys. We need it.
But
remember, like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. Make sure you comment.
And yeah, tell your friends.
Share it.
Tell your friends.
Okay. That's it.
Cheers.
Love you guys.